So that's how. Just zooming out, what were some hard lessons that you had in your career?
You mean cybersecurity or just career in general?
Overall in your career, what are some hard lessons that you missed out or you learned it the hard way?
I learned in the hard way. So to me, I was always the primary cybersecurity contact for the most companies that I worked. So there were times where I was part of change approval board. So every change will come to me, and I literally had no time. Somebody will call me like 1 a.m. in the morning. Hey, Anand, we're having this project tomorrow morning that we need to release. So would you mind approving that? So that was me. So during those days, I feel like I should have had my personal time in terms of uh, studying some cutting edge technologies, which I eventually did. But I was not the first person to learn that. Even for the very important topic about AI, while there are so many other AI things that are going on, I still feel like I am lacking some of the AI stuff because I'm busy with something else. So I want
Yeah,
to really take my personal time off and just try to be ahead of the curve. See, to kind of
I
understand things.
I don't know. Except these big tech guys, anybody can be ahead of AI curves because all the talent they are poaching it, right? Second, today's new is tomorrow's old. That's how things are moving out. So it's very hard to catch up on things. I myself don't find enough time to listen to new things, right? Or learn about new things. But hope it doesn't grow in the same pace. Somewhere it slows down so that people can catch up to things, right? In the previous podcast, I was talking to other guests, right? Where 1 year ago it was MCP, now it is agentic,
Hmm.
now it is workflows. What happened to MCP, right?
Yeah.
People, did they do it? Didn't they do it? Was it a success? Failure? Nobody knows. There are still people trying to learn that, but things are moving fast. So it kind of amazes me. I'm lost for words in terms of how fast it is growing. People don't have time to learn, right? And the people who want to learn, they don't have fundamentals.
Right.
People, they have time, they can learn, pick up agentic AI stuff, workflow stuff, everything, but they can't explain what's a web server
Yeah.
or how a data classification is done for training these models, right? So it's very distorted in terms of technology, how it is evolving. The people who have experience can't find time to learn. People who have time to learn can't find the fundamentals,
Yeah.
right? So it's interesting. So that's where I was talking in one of the previous episodes, right? The next generation of interviews will be interesting. Will they give people ChatGPT and ask them to solve a problem? Right? Because now everybody are dependent on it. They want to use uh, to see how efficiently can they use these tools, right?
Yeah.
Because now everybody knows it's part and part of life. Previously, only people who know how to Google and a handful of websites like Stack Overflow and others, people who know to troubleshoot can do. Now ChatGPT kind of eliminated everything. You need to know the way to prompt to get the exact response that can solve your problem. So that's what the next probably couple of years will know whether ChatGPT will be part of the interview, right? Or any other AI models.
No, you made me think one more thing. So I get this complaint from a lot of people. Okay, AI is going to steal all the jobs. Well, it's going to steal some jobs. It's also going to create more jobs, right?
Yeah.
So prompt engineers, for example, to your point, right? So it can be a standalone piece of job where I mean you want to have an efficient prompt engineer that spend less time to extract more from these AI algorithms,
Yep.
right? So uh, having it embedded into your interview process, I've never thought about it, but I'm going to start thinking about it after you just said that.
Yeah, because see, nowadays people work, especially I've seen Gen Z people, mostly they start using ChatGPT as their work operating system. It's no longer Windows, it's no longer Chrome, Google, or anything, ChatGPT, right? You
Yeah.
get a task, put the task in GPT and ask, hey, what should I do? Right? So this is how they start their day. So that's where will ChatGPT or any other AI module, these guys are more accustomed to, they just give them a task because uh, in traditional way there used to be technical assessments, right? People give you a problem, see how you solve. Now you have the ability to use a model,
Yeah,
use any model of your like, and see how fast can you come up with a solution or how efficiently can you come up with a solution.
yeah.
So that's what I see probably in future, coming up, how interviews might look, because everybody knows they do it with the help of internet or from the documentation sites and stuff. But will it be formalized? That's an interesting thing to watch out for, definitely.
This is like, you are going to add your logical reasoning aspect with modern AI
Yes.
algorithms, which is like something that we never thought about that's going to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
coming in the near future, but we are seeing it in our generation is something surprising.
yeah. Yeah. um See, one of the things in when it comes to, once we move away from current text landscape, is the emerging tech,
Yeah.
right? Definitely AI, right? See, that's where I want to understand, what do you think will be the most transformative for, let's say, in your experience in algorithms of writing it to telecom, or in cybersecurity, or in traditional tech software, right? What do you think that can be transformative?
Transformative to me will be, it's a very good question and a very serious question that not many people thought about. Because I have my background in satellite communications, because I
Ah, yeah,
wrote algorithms and protocols, not from a traditional TCP algorithm where you have a source and a destination, where you write a OSP of algorithm or RIP or BGP or traditional routing algorithms. Wireless communication will never work like that. So you want to have an assumption that this is an intermittent connectivity where the TCP algorithm that they wrote will have a time to live for only 120 or 240 seconds. After that, it
stateless.
will drop. But if the connectivity is not always on, and if it is going to be coming back only after 240 seconds, the packet is already lost. So the people that wrote delay tolerant routing algorithms kept these things in mind, that you want to have a special routing algorithm and special protocol for wireless connectivity, not the wireless connectivity from your cell phone to your nearest tower, but from the tower to the satellite part is completely different. That is vulnerable to modern attacks that nobody is talking about.
Yeah. Trust me, since this is a recording podcast, right? I'll act as if I understood, because I didn't understood any of it. The only thing I remember is in my engineering graduate, there was signals and system and digital signal processing, where we used to have a base station and a satellite station, how it communicates and all this stuff. I assume that's what you're explaining, because I didn't get to think of it. But it's amazing, right? How vast the experiences can diverse. Although we have been, um, you know, met with having some similarities in experiences, but when you look at your traditional journey, I can't even imagine what a satellite communication protocol would look like,
I'm
right?
talking about RAN, radio access network, or
Yeah,
GAN, geostational orbit, and the connectivity between your base station to your satellites.
satellite
So that is completely operated in a particular spectrum. So
spectrum.
so you will have a spectrum communication channel created, where the data that it is collecting is fed back to your base station, and you are actually feeding it to your internet and whatever modern internet that you are using today. So while cloud is emerging, it's already emerged. While a lot of things actually emerge in terms of how we use apps, mobile, cloud, and other AI use cases, this aspect of securing our modern satellite algorithms and satellite communication channel is very, very important, because that is where the next game is going to be. Somebody is actually going to, attack your satellite signals. So anything that you're going to see from the internet cannot be a reliable source of truth.
Yeah, yeah. See, that is one of a few predictions that I've made in the past. See, from the time I realized in the industry, right? There is a tech, there is a hacking of the tech. tech, hacking of the tech. You see, the way it happened is electric cars, Tesla kind of boomed in the initial days, then came the Tesla hacks, right? Crypto boomed, then came the crypto hacks, right?
Yeah.
Then it started with AI. I'm, expecting a series of AI hacks. One simple hack could be, what if ChatGPT, Gemini, or Anthropic can find PII information and share.
Yes.
I can ask, hey, what's Donald Trump's number or Modi's number, right?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, there is no reason for you to not think about it with this modern way of how
Yeah,
we are, we are moving forward.
that
Absolutely.
will be that will be devastating. Imagine 6.4 billion, or I don't know, lost count, probably close to 7 or 8 billion people's PII data. At least 1 to 2 billion are on the internet. Their PII data is out in public. Anybody can query, right? So
Right.
I can't think or comprehend the number of scams or spams will come out of it, right?
And it's just a click away. That's the paradox.
Yes.
You are not going to spend enough time to create these attacks because it's all actually automated with hyper automation
Yeah.
capabilities, right?
Yeah.
So that's the paradox to this whole analogy that we're talking about.
Yeah. You made me recall one more point that I learned, where a researcher did an exercise saying if he spins up a SQL database with a default username and password, it took them 7 minutes to get owned.
Hmm.
There are automated bots waiting for 3309 or 3389 ports with default username and password checks. The moment that your service goes online, they log in. You don't log in, they log in.
So you will have a run book, Arun, where somebody will spin up your SQL server, and tomorrow when they are auditing that they have default username and password, even if that auditing timeline is 1 month away, for example, that is too soon. Telling within that 1 month, when you say there is 7 minutes, so you want to have auditing and you want to make sure that the security is aware that during the process of spinning up your servers, default username and passwords should be going, should be gone.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense because some of the cloud service providers are nowadays they don't give away default username and password, but still people keep default username and password. That's a different story. But most of the cloud providers are trying to make difficult for people who are taking security lags, but there's still a long way to go. You can still go up to Shodan or any other crawler sites and still find open terminal services, open CCTV cameras, default username and password services. It's very difficult for 2 billion people to have cyber hygiene. That's what I have realized in my experience, Yuka.
They are
Yeah,
also using older ports, so not
yeah,
all ports are secure ports. So there are legacy systems that are still using older ports, suspected to not even sophisticated attacks, even a simple attack can reach there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still, you can go look up any number of people still are using pure SFTP, right? Port 21, not even SFTP, it's just FTP. Unencrypted, right? It's That's what my experience has made me realize. You can't make 2 billion people who are on the internet, or at any given moment of time there are 600, 700 million people who are online. You can't ask everybody to be cyber hygiene, right? Even 1% of it is like 600k users. They are bound to mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So probably we are coming to the last portion. Any suggestion for new innovators or newcomers into the industries?
So yeah, so you, I'm seeing this thing quite often in cyber industry recently, where CISSP or modern certifications have become gold standard, which is good. You want to study certifications, you want to definitely make use of the knowledge that you are consuming there, but it is not just enough to It became like a CCNA today. So
Yeah,
a long time back, when you want to get into work for a company like Cisco or Lucent, you complete CCNA, but they don't need CCNA people. They need developers, you see, because they already know their product and how to configure them. So what is the point in going and studying? So what CCNA guys did long back was to actually understand how to configure the things. And the people
mm,
who buy Cisco products, they go there as a specialist and implement that, not for working for Cisco. it will take time to get there. Similarly, for cybersecurity, the people that are trying to do certifications and trying to come from a different area, even some experienced people that want to embark into the journey of cybersecurity, the suggestion for my suggestion will be, in addition to spending time in certifications, try to spend some fundamentals as well, just like
Yeah.
he said, right? So you want to be able to understand the jargon, you want to be able to understand how to connect the dots, you will have to understand. So vulnerability management is not limited to Qualys or Rapid7.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that is the problem that I am actually seeing in a lot of these people, that they immediately connect a particular tech term to a product associated with that.
Yes. You bring up a really good point that I have faced with multiple people who come to me about suggestion. Hey, what certification should I do? So I always say them, do generic, don't do product specific. Because one of the things is, if you go to Microsoft, for example, for Azure, it will teach you about Azure security.
True.
It doesn't teach you fundamentals. It doesn't teach you what is security. It will say how to use their tools, which is a bad thing, right? Same way, industry has done a lot more trainings when we entered the industry, right? There was CCNA. If you want to do CCNA, you have to do official courses. There's no unofficial thing, right? But now there is a lot more official open courses. Azure gives it for free, AWS gives it for free, Google gives it for free, but they teach their product, not cyber security, right? So
True.
that's one of the biggest problems that I've seen. There is a lot more material now. People can from learn from a lot more resources, but they teach only their product, which is against limits them to the capabilities, and they don't fully comprehend the cyber security or the industry wide knowledge.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was talking to one of the guys, he wants to learn DevOps. He wants to learn Terraform. HashiCorp teaches Terraform. There are a lot more content on YouTube. But if you go to DevOps of Azure, you'll learn only Azure DevOps tools.
Right.
If you go to DevOps certification of AWS, you'll only learn
Talk about AI.
DevOps of AWS. So it's kind of, even though he learns Terraform, he learns DevOps, but without understanding these tools from the providers, he can't use it. It's kind of a double-edged sword now. Should they go for specific vendor certification or should they go for generic certification?
Yeah.
So that's the dilemma, and most of the people who are trying to learn new skills that I see, there's a lot more resources, but there is no comprehensive. It's all bits and pieces from here and there.
But any form of learning is always useful, Arun. So I'm
Yeah.
completely against learning a particular certification. But you will always have to have a conceptual meaning to why you want to pursue a particular. Even when somebody wants to choose cybersecurity, they want to know: is it because it is boom today? No. So, like I said, I mean, before sharpening your skill set, you want to have a mindset. You want to understand how an attacker will think. Okay, I am actually going to go target a SaaS product company, so what are the different attacks possible for that particular company? Then you want to kind of take a step back and see, okay, I want to learn OWASP, I want to learn MITRE attacks, I want to understand the anatomy of each attacks and what are the components attached to it. No certification is going to, some certifications will teach that, I'm not completely against, but that will not be the first certification that you will study. That's the problem.
Yeah. True, true. And it's a paradox of information. See, one of the principles that I say to some of my followers is, right, don't stop learning. Learn from every source. When you start identifying this source is crap, you are becoming knowledgeable. Basically, you are knowledgeable now to say this is good information, this is bad information. But
Exactly.
initially, you don't know what's good and bad. So learn from everything. The moment that you realize this is bad information, technically inaccurate or something, you are becoming knowledgeable, which is a sign that you are learning. Most of the people I say, don't look for technical accuracy from ChatGPT response. It's crap. It's good at giving generic information, but technical accuracy, you take any product, any programming, right? When it can't go deep dive. It can go broad,
Yeah.
but it can't go technical deep dive, and that's where ChatGPT fails. It can give you generic but not specific. So that's where I ask people, go to documentations, vendor documentation. That's the accurate information you need. It might take a bit longer, but use ChatGPT to reach there. Ask for a technical accurate documentation to verify its information, then you get a more accurate response. So that's one of the things that I say. Learn from everywhere. When you start realizing this is not a good source, you are becoming knowledgeable.
I can't agree
Yeah.
with you more. So you know you are spot on there. And
Yeah.
one more thing I wanted to tell is people want to have some groups within their office or outside office to have common channel, right? They want to kind of discuss uh, things happening in and around cybersecurity, like podcasts or fireside chat, and they want to organize some things outside work to group and to actually talk what's going on
Yeah.
in the world, that will give them additional insights on whatever they are having blind spots on.
Yeah. You see, always if you are sticking to work, your knowledge is limited to that company. That's what I felt. I have been a victim of that. I stayed in a company for too long. My knowledge was limited to that. When I started breaking out of that and seeing the world outside the company, because company, home, this is what my job was. And I was very limited to that growth of the company and the technology growth within that company. The moment you step away, you see the breadth of the world, like, oh my God, there is so many things happening. How can I learn? What can I learn? There is so much chaos, right? But that's how I made a realization to always have a side channel of information rather than the only source of information, because you get a contradicting version, then you start to investigate and validate what your thought process is. That's how you grow as a human being, right? You
Yes.
take in multiple perspectives, put your own spin on it to see what's right, what might be the accurate fit for your needs. And that's what, gives you that problem solving ability. When you look at how two people have solved the same problem in different ways, but those two won't help you. You have to take the principal approach there, first principle approach, and apply in your case. you
Situation.
know
Yes.
so that's how it helps in life, also in whatever the things that you are doing, because no two-person are the same things. They have their own journeys, own experiences, own problem solving capability. Some people take too much risk, some people take too little risk, but they all end up having same outcome in terms of whether it's a fast approach or a slow approach.
Right. It's a journey after.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, even we want to welcome freshers and early cybersecurity learners that are become aspiring to become cyber person. In addition to whatever they are studying or doing certs, having a group like this will help them evolve and understand what's the real world problem.
Cool, cool. So, we are coming close to the end of our, podcast. Probably I'll invite you for another session when you find time, right? We can probably continue upon. But to end this session, we'll go with a quick rapid fire.
Yeah.
Okay. In today's day, one tool you can't live without.
One tool I can't live without will be anything that is giving me posture, like SIM or XDR, or
Uh,
anything that is giving me more information about a particular landscape.
okay. So you need that overwhelming information that you
That
can make decisions upon.
uh, when we are sitting in a decision making end, you want to understand where you want to focus more, what is looking red versus what is looking blue, or you want to
Yeah.
that kind of high level approach.
Yeah. One of the podcasts in the previous episode, I mentioned about, see, leaders need to make decisions based on the data, right? If they are informed with a bad data, they will make bad decisions, right? It's not about being a bad leader or good leader. It's what information or the data that they are basing their decision upon. See, nobody will start firing people immediately, because until they go through the data of what is happening within the company or outside the company,
Yeah.
right? It's what information gets fed through these leaders' lens, what they're looking at, that's what leads. If it is bad data, it will be bad decision. If it is good data, it will be good decisions, right?
And that is why single pane of glass became popular in the real realm of
Yeah,
security.
true, true. And I saw cyber security before the SIM became the go-to for that.
Yeah.
People were struggling to understand with multiple tools. Where is this? What is the problem? All those sort of stuff. Okay. Uh, any contrarian view in today that you will defend?
Any contra. So um, I would say the people that are focusing more on GRC, I think
Mm.
it's a team sport, right? So the tech people are ignoring the aspects of
Yeah.
people that are coming from GRC, and it is also happening from GRC to okay, this is the technical element that I have a different team to work on. So I think, I mean, they want to work in parallel and contribute to each other's strength to have a better uh,
Yeah.
better
I,
dissemination.
I, I am guilty. I acknowledge because we used to make some good memes about GRC people not being technical. But later, when I grow through the journey, I saw the importance of GRC, right? Without a policy, nobody cares what you do, right? If there is a policy, everybody, hey, there is a policy. I shouldn't do this, right? So I've seen that maturity in myself where I used to make memes about GRC people. Then I eventually realized how important it is for any organization,
Right.
right? Not only in terms of cybersecurity, even for background verification checks, how it can become, make or break a company. If you make a one bad hire, it can just lose trust.
Yeah.
Recent one was, North Korean hackers getting into companies, right? How does that happen? If without GRC, it happens. Yes.
Because you are not ready to pay the price, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, without the right GRC policies, yeah, this happens, right? If there was a GRC, then you would have made it airtight that you hire North Korean or some other guy, he can't do much impact,
yeah, but it
right?
goes hand in hand, Arun. So as much as their contribution is vital, it is also actually the technology people that want to support the entire program. So that's why it is a team sport, where the problem is there are silos, within
Yeah.
cyber teams, where they operate in their own landscape and tech operate in their own landscape. It's very, very rare that they are on the same page in most
Yeah.
important conversations.
In my experience, being silo is an industry problem in entire IT. Windows team doesn't know what Linux is doing. Linux team doesn't know what Windows is doing. It's been the problem for I don't know for since the time I knew. But even still, it exists even in small companies, large companies, irrespective of sizes. The information silos is everywhere. Yeah. And finally, winding up. Thank you for making time for this podcast. Where can listeners follow you?
No, I'm not a very social person, so I
As
try to
usual.
I try to keep. I want to work hard to actually be approachable. It's not because I want to be hiding, but I don't have enough opportunity to meet a lot of people. I'm just an email away, or a LinkedIn message away. If there is anything that needs my attention, then I'm very
Yeah.
much happy to be part of anything, any conversation going forward.
See, one of the things I would like to point out to listeners is if you are a satellite geek, reach out to him. If you are a encryption geek, reach out to him. As he said, the communication channel, how the satellite communications works, you can reach out to him. He has written algorithms to handle those such communications, right? Because we don't know what listeners are curious about. They can reach out to you anything, but some of the things that you highlighted are truly, special experience that I would call it. You can't find a satellite communication guy next door, right?
Yeah,
So
but
if they
see,
need
I'm
help,
not doing that for my bread and butter. Today, I mean, I'm not actively engaged in any satellite projects, but I'll be able to connect the dots because
yeah,
I know there is a problem area because that was my real experience. But I moved away from that space to kind of focus more on cybersecurity. But I also want to relate whatever we are learning in cybersecurity, how much this is applicable for the traditional
yeah,
communication. So when we talk about legacy today, tomorrow we are going to say all these satellite communication channels are legacy. Are we going to replace them? No, that's not the conversation that we want to have 5 years down the line. We want to be abreast of actually being proactive instead of being reactive after once these channels are being compromised.
yep, yep. Very true. So that's what uh, we have for today for our listeners, but they can reach you out on your email or LinkedIn. Probably, I'll put a post description within the podcast of your LinkedIn. People can reach out on your LinkedIn. Once again, Anand, thank you for making this. I know you're pretty busy, so I'm trying to wrap this up before your next call.
Thank you, Arun. The pleasure is all mine, and it's always fun when we talk things in
Yeah.
common, especially because we share stories from 3 4 years back. So I'm very happy to know you personally, and I'm always just reachable. So I will also be very interested to have these conversations quite often.
Yep.
As time permits.